reported to me and reported to the city government about how unfair they thought it was and what a trauma it was to these children. So we brought one of the principals to DC as a witness for a hearing on my subcommittee, workforce protection, about how this affects the workforce, because that's the way it was my angle. The very next day, when the principal went back to her school in San Rafael, California, they had another ice raid. And of course I called and challenged and said, what's, retaliation? Oh no, there was no connection. I mean, this is, so when you young people tell us that you don't trust, the people that are supposed to be protecting you, believe me, I sometimes don't either, so I appreciate that in you. What I'd like to know is from you, Heidi, because I didn't hear your whole testimony, and if you're repeating, forgive me. How did you find out that your parents had been taken away?
Well, I was sleeping around 5 or 6:30 in the morning when my sister was on the bed crying, and she said that she overheard my dad talking with my brother's babysitter. She put the phone on speaker, because at that time we could hear a phone call through 2 phones. So she put it on speaker, we both hear what my dad was talking about. And then we decided to talk with my dad and he told him what was going on. But he promised us that she would be back the next day, but she wasn't. So my sisters and brothers were really upset. They started crying because they wanted her mother. But it was really painful to tell them, oh, she'll be the next day and keep on lying to them until she came home. But it was really heartbreaking because we saw her with a broken bone.
So did you have any interaction with her when she was away from you? Or did you not know when she would be back?
Well, the first day that she was taken away by her grandfather, she called us at the house phone, so we were able to talk with her, and she told us at least a little bit more information about what happened to her. And then my little baby brother, Danny, was able to go visit her, but then she called my dad, and she said that it was really heartbreaking to see him because she couldn't touch him or hug him. So my dad, she wanted to see me and my sister and brother, but we weren't able because my dad said he didn't want to upset her anymore.
So Matthew, where does your compassion come from? Do you know families that have been separated?
I know families, but nothing has happened to me. We're lucky enough that we're still together. I'm one of the children that are scared that when they go to school, no one's going to pick you up, or when you go to the groceries. And, well, I'm really scared. And we're just waiting what's going to happen next.
So Ms. Suarez, what does that do to a kid's learning ability when they're in school?
It interferes with their concentration. How can you be thinking about your schoolwork? Although, excuse me, I should put this on. The Urban Institute did the only real study that we have on the ice raids. And what they found was that there was tremendous anxiety and depression, and rise in anger, so symptomatology in kids, which of course interferes with learning. But that schools became the one safe zone for kids in many ways. So that was a really interesting, unexpected finding. That many schools did a really good job of trying to be this one organized space. A lot of kids, when their parents were deported, also lost, if they remained, lost the place that they were living in. They were insecure around eating because their poverty rates went way up. So in addition to all the psychological symptoms, they also had much more food insecurity and much more insecurity around where they were going to live. So the one safe place was school. But, you know, they weren't concentrating necessarily on learning. So there are all sorts of...
But in our experience, the young people didn't even want to leave their house to go to school. I mean, they did after a few weeks because they're young and had to
Well, that was the
want to.
immediate,
But the immediate thing was I'm staying close to home. And the schools knew it, and they did everything they could to fill the gap. So, Mr. Chairman.